Pórtate bien. Behave yourself, you always said to me. And I behaved myself when others were warm in winter and I stood out in the cold. Behaved myself when others had full plates and I stared at them hungrily through the cafe windows. Never speaking out of turn. Behaving like a good boy, Grandpa. Until my behavior was shattered by outsiders who came to the village one day, insulting my grandpa because he couldn't speak English, a language we had spoken for 400 years. English then became the invader's sword, the oppressor's language, that hurled me into profound despair. That day, Grandpa and I walked into the farm office for a loan, and this man didn't give Grandpa one, not even an application, because he was stupid. And my grandpa didn't even know what the word meant. That moment cut me in two pieces, both bladed on the lips of the man. One piece screaming my grandpa was a lovely man. The other piece, this farm office clerk was a beast. And I looked up and I saw my grandpa's eyes go dark with a wound heart, that I would witness him humiliated. Every day he came in from the fields, I'd wait by the window, run out to greet him at night, and leap into his arms, and we would play that his soul was an apricot tree. And I would climb up that apricot tree branch way up above his shoulders and touch the stars. And the apricot tree in his soul was cut down that day using English as an axe. The scene of my grandpa in that room and what came out of his soul, the scene, it has never left me. Through all the sadnesses and the terrors and the joys that have blossomed, shattered my innocence, I've never forgotten the room. The way the light hazily filtered in the windows, the dignified presence of my grandpa in his sheepskin coat and steel-working boots, the scene, the way that the boards creaked under his work boots haunted me when I had my children at home and I brought them out of their mother's womb. With the blood in my hands, I vowed to God they would never be humiliated like that. The scene was in the blood, echoed in my dreams, drummed in my heart, was with me through the hours of my life. The man behind the counter, his important government papers rattling in the breeze, and that disdainful look on his face. That scene in the door and the little boy I was. My grandpa's hand on the doorknob crushing mine underneath his eyes on me when I say, "Grandpa, por favor, suéltame la mano, por favor." And his eyes on me like a wound in the wind howling, asking forgiveness. Seeing that dusty day with the drought baby clay in my pants cuffs and the sheep starving for feed, and my grandpa's hopes up that the farm-aid man would give us help like he had others. That scene, framed in my 10-year-old mind, having prayed at 5 o'clock mass that morning, on my knees begging God, don't let the sheep die, God. This is 3 generations of Chicano sheep. You gotta perform a miracle for us through this drought, with a little help from the farm-aid man. And I knew entering that door, seeing the gringos coming out smiling and happy and talkative with signed papers to buy feed, we were going to survive the drought too. And then the scene with its wooden floor, and my shoes scraping the sand grains had blown in through the open door, and the hot sun warming my face, and me standing there by myself looking around for Grandpa after he'd gone. After the farm-aid man turned us down, after I knew our sheep were going to die, after I knew Grandpa was going to die, opened a wound in me that replayed itself 1,000 times a day with grief and hurt and confusion. Why? Why would anybody do that? Why? That day changed my life forever. Made me a man at 10. Made me understand. Because Grandpa couldn't speak a foreign language called English. He had to die. And when I turned and I walked out the door on the main street, squinting my eyes at the whirling dust, the world was never the same. It was the first time I ever realized racism could kill the person you loved. It was the first time I'd ever witnessed how racism could kill a whole people's dream. And during all of it, my grandpa said, "Bien, hijo. Behave yourself, my son. Behave."